Crowley. I'm going to walk you through an implementation of my CSC 594 project. Essentially, what I was trying to do here is create an AI agent that learns emotions, an agent that can read a passage of text and come up with an emotional response. Uh, the agent is modeling its emotional responses off those of the user. So, a lot of how this agent's going to learn is by making a guess towards an emotional response, then checking with the user if the user would respond that way, and if not, the agent's going to modify itself to respond more like the user. All right, so before I get to the implementation, a couple things I wanted to talk about. First was the text analysis is pretty tricky. So like there's a lot of okay methods out there, but it's really kind of a work in progress in the community right now for like great text analysis. Something I found which was kind of cool is it's called BERT. BERT stands for bidirectional encoder representation from transformers. It's a type of neural network that's especially good for text analysis. One of the things it does different than past methods is it looks at the sentence holistically, so right to left and left to right, not just left to right. So the initial part of its training is it trains itself on large amounts of, in this case, large amounts of data from Wikipedia. One of the things the initial training process does is called masking. So basically, it takes away one word in a sentence and then tries to predict the missing word in that sentence. You can also fine tune BERT to do a whole bunch of different stuff. So in this case, we did two neural networks using one was using BERT, one was using Roberto, which is just a little bit more intense version of BERT. Um, so the first neural network we set up was a yes/no answering network. Um, Basically, it's trained on some data that has a block of text, a yes/no question, a yes/no answer, and then it tries to predict yes or no from the text. Uh, and then the other one we used was an extractive neural network, extractive question answering. So basically, you could ask it a question about a block of text, and then it would try to find where in that block of text best answered your question. So I thought that was a pretty powerful tool for the agent. Being able to ask itself yes/no questions about the text, and also to ask itself context questions about the text. Um, all right, so let's get to the implementation. Right now, I'm working in Jupyter Notebook. I'll get this transferred over into a socket later this week. All right. So our agent allows us to load in a list of people. So as the process goes along, the agent's gonna get to know more people that the user knows and form opinions of them. In this case, we won't load in an opinion list yet. All right, so we loaded in a story, which we'll show next, but Lauren is a character in the story. So the agent wants to know a little bit about Lauren because doesn't know anything about her. So let's type in she's nice, she's kind, she's wonderful. And then the agent's going to do a sentiment analysis on what we type about this person. The sentiment analysis tells the agent: is this a friend? Is this a rival? Is this somebody we just don't care that much about? Either way. So in this case, Lauren is marked as a friend. So the story is traffic was bad. Lauren went to the store to buy bread. However, she forgot and did not buy the bread and said she bought cookies. So the agent is predicting we feel sorry for Lauren for not achieving a goal. And it says Lauren did not achieve the goal of buying bread. Was that emotion predicted correct? So we could say yes, and that wraps it up. But for now, let's say no. So what was our actual response? Let's say we're jealous. All right, so now the agent wants to know a little bit more. So what questions could it have asked itself about this text to gauge my emotional reaction? So let's say, did Lauren buy cookies? Then it wants to know a little bit more, like why was this question like relevant to us? So if we had a goal in the story, what was it? Let's say I really wanted cookies, so I'll say, uh, our my goal was to buy cookies. Maybe Lauren took the last of the cookies. Um, and then so now it's stored. Uh, yep. So then it says, would you like to save your opinion from the story? Let's just say no. Uh, and then shoot. Sorry, rerun that. So then in this case, it's essentially created like a memory. So it gives the story. Traffic is bad. Lauren went to the store. It gives us the characters in the story. In this case, just Lauren. It gives us our initial guess as to the emotion, and then it gives us the actual emotion felt by the user, and the one that should be felt by the agent. So a couple things I want to keep working on from this. I'd like to. So right now I'm just focused mostly on the fortunes of others' emotions. I'd like to kind of branch out into some of the other ones once I have time. It should be relatively easy. Uh, and then I'm also doing a little bit more research on just like the nature of emotions. So one thing we know from research is that emotions are affected quite a bit by memories are affected quite a bit by our emotions at the time, and our recall of those memories is also affected by the emotions at the time we're recalling. So that's something I'd like to build in this week. All right, thank you, and that's my project so far.